Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Welcome back to Danganronpa Mauve, everyone. This is exciting. We're kind of already in the trial, right? And so, it's gonna start getting really, really, really good. Are you talking about the glasses straps? That's right. How is it that no one noticed this? The glasses straps? Why? It's only natural. When your glasses are hanging around your neck, even if you swing your body and they fall off, they'll just dangle there instead of hitting the floor.
Oh, really? I've never used the kind with a strap, so I didn't know.
Me too. I just thought it was a hanging thread. You don't need glasses, do you, Shoji?
I didn't even realize that her glasses had a strap.
Isn't that last one a bit much? No, I didn't notice really. Why would I pay attention to that?
In other words, there's no need to fumble around on the floor, which doesn't match the actions of the culprit. I understand now.
It might be difficult to make such a hasty conclusion. For example, what about the possibility that the glasses strap was cut?
What are you talking about, Tomo? As you can see, Jumanji's glasses strap is a metal chain. It's quite possible for glasses to come off during daily activity, but they wouldn't just break from ordinary impacts.
Or we can consider scenario. Touched by victim before collapsing and then severed, like that?
What are you saying?
Before Miss Kizuki was struck on the head and fell, are you referring to the case where the chain broke as she instinctively pulled on her glasses strap?
Affirmative.
You two have an amazing chemistry.
I've gotten used to him by now.
Isn't it a possibility worth considering? Of course, there were no defensive wounds on Miss Kizuki's body, but we can't definitively say there was no last struggle.
No, if her glasses straps broke, then her glasses straps wouldn't be on. What do you mean? No, that's probably not it.
Why is that?
I just remembered what Miyuki said. The reason Monokuma mentioned the refractive index of Jumanji's glasses was that he had information to share with us in the first place, right? Anyone remember what that information was? While an infinite amount of clothing is provided in the private rooms, no accessories are offered. That was their story. And here, glasses are categorized as an accessory, right?
Then you're saying if the string was cut, there's no way Jumanji's glasses strap, the one she's wearing now, would still be intact.
Yes, exactly. That's what I wanted to say. Then you're saying Shitanda's deduction was wrong? That deduction he was so confident about?
Could it be that he's testing us again? Huh? No. There's no way that happened. I do have a conscience, you know. This time, I genuinely got it wrong.
That's hard to believe. Just looking at Jumanji's face is enough to refute that. Are you seriously saying you didn't even think of that?
Oh, that's actually because I'm such a shy guy that I freeze up whenever I see a girl's face. Wow, look at that fierce expression.
Shitanda, based on the circumstances, it seems like you've deliberately led the investigation in the wrong direction again. Is that true?
No, I just... You guys are so quick to notice. You're right, I tested you again.
Why is that? Tell me the truth.
Well, a discussion isn't something you can do by yourself. It's something you do together, right? But in the last trial, only the two people who uncovered the truth first were allowed to lead the proceedings, right? So, I wanted to see if you guys could actually spot the incorrect reasoning even without my help. I have no bad intentions, so please calm down.
Oh, really? Then from now until the trial ends, don't say a single word. Oh, got him.
What?
I made myself clear. If you try to lead us into another deduction and test us again, you will not be forgiven. This is an order as your leader. Kuzu, she's making me not trust her. What do you mean, don't say a thing? He's figured out who the culprit is. We need his help. We'll gather our wisdom and figure out the truth ourselves. So you just need to stay quiet and only speak up if we come to the wrong conclusion. You probably don't want to die either, so you won't be able to resist responding in that situation. So just keep quiet. Got it?
Okay.
Oh, he bummed out. They bummed out. I've never seen them like this before.
It seems like they've given in quite easily, but anyway, it's good that it worked out. He needs to really reflect on his own behavior.
There was a moment of confusion, but anyway, back to the main topic. If Miss Jumanji isn't the culprit either, then who is? At this rate, something I didn't mean to skip.
I don't think there were any major contradictions or mistakes in the reasoning. Which part should we start reviewing again?
After all, there's no way the object the culprit dropped wasn't a pair of glasses, right? That part seems so logically sound that I can't really imagine there being another answer. It easily resolves all the questions related to the bloodstains.
The evidence interpretation might be wrong. Maybe Shitanda's experiment was flawed, or perhaps the culprit tried to erase something other than fingerprints.
Then we get another answer?
It's not quite simple to get that though.
Or maybe someone else among us wears glasses, too?
Are there any others besides Miss Jumanji?
Denied. Only librarian. Denied! Librarian it is!
Actually, there's one more person.
Speak. Who?
Oh, I guess I should speak in the past. They were... No, just forget it. It's nonsense.
If we're talking in the past tense, someone among us who used to wear glasses, there's no way.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking earlier. Beep, 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 beep. My girl. My girl, my girl, my girl. Talking about my girl.
This is ridiculous. Are you saying that Kizuki hit herself?
Well, even if we somehow managed to skip the hitting part, there's no way she could have handled the cleanup, like wiping away the fingerprints. I just said whatever came to mind.
Oh, that might be convincing. Kizuki, from the dead, rawr, rawr, that's it. After being hit in the head, Kizuki came back to life, erased the evidence, just like that.
How is that possible?
You're the one who brought up Kizuki. Why are you so freaked out?
I just thought about it. It's so scary.
Not exactly a pretty sight, is it?
I told you to be quiet. The starting point itself is fine. If there are no suspects among the living, wouldn't it be better to look among the dead?
What?
Ooh, as expected, Kizuki from the dead.
No, that's just nonsense and not worth a single word. However, if the person who cleaned the floor is Kizuki, then it all makes sense.
It seems to fit together, but I'm still not sure what you're saying. How did Miss Kizuki erase the fingerprints? And why?
I get what you're trying to say.
Have you realized something, Miss Jumanji?
It's not a big deal. You just need to shift your perspective a little. Now, listen up.
What exactly is the shift of perspective that Jumanji's talking about? Oh, I see it now! I should really pay attention to what she says.
Okay.
Kizuki's bloody clothes. Right, Kizuki's bloody clothes.
Let's assume the white rabbit scrubbed the floor. Stop calling her that. It's cute. No, wait. How could that even... I was about to elaborate. Please be quiet. I forget the buttons. The reason was not to erase fingerprints.
If the body didn't come back to life, that must be it.
So it has nothing to do with the culprit touching the floor?
But still, it was stained with blood, right? If that's the case, then Miss Kizuki rubbed the floor. It must have been after being hit by the culprit.
Also, what kind of cloth did Kizuki have to clean up the floor?
Oh, I see. This one.
If it doesn't solve all the problems being discussed, then this becomes pointless.
I told you to listen quietly. What's my shoot button again? Okay. What's my skip button? Nice.
Meow, 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 meow.
Bow. Sorry, what you go?
Break.
Okay, I'll take a break. Don't mind if I do. Alright, I'll zoom a break. I'll resume from my break. No, Sadashina. In fact, such cloth might exist.
What did you say?
It's right in front of our eyes, too.
I don't quite understand what you mean. What are you trying to say?
There's no need to overthink it. Overthinking it, like my card said from the Mono machine. Anyway, Kizuki actually wears cloth over her hands all the time. Were her sleeves bloody? Oh, that's it! That's right. Kizuki usually wore a gown that was too big and walked around with the sleeves hanging down. Are you really trying to claim that she wiped the floor with her sleeves? Yes, as proof, Kizuki's sleeves were stained with blood. If it were smeared around like that, it had to have been rubbed with something. It was definitely not just a stain from blood. I thought that was because she just got hit in the head. What?
Me too. There was so much blood from her head that I didn't notice it properly.
Because your observation skills are so lacking, you'll fall into the culprit's trap. Huh? The culprit's trap? Oh, that'll come later. The important part is now.
You're right, but I still don't quite understand what you're saying. So, to sum it up, are you saying that Miss Kizuki just swept the bloody floor with her hand? I wonder if there was really a reason to do it that way.
With her hands on the floor, everywhere. But that somehow feels familiar, though.
Huh?
Yeah, we were just discussing that a moment ago.
Right, you mean the part where the culprit touched around on the floor looking for their glasses. Kizuki couldn't live without her glasses. She couldn't live if living meant without her glasses. I feel like I've sang that exact song before. Also, she couldn't live regardless because she's dead. Anyway, if she dropped them, she would have frantically touched around on the floor to pick them up. Yes. I know that better than anyone else. I'm kind of confused. My head feels like it's spinning. That's understandable. What we just deduced has completely been overturned. There's nothing particularly contradictory about touching around with her sleeves rolled up, trying to find her glasses. Especially for important items you need right away, like glasses, it's understandable to be in a panic. Even though she was in such a hurry that she didn't even think about rolling up her sleeves to avoid getting her sleeves dirty with blood.
But even so, there are countless oddities. For example, the fact that the blood smeared on the floor when Kizuki cleaned it up indicates that Kizuki had already started to bleed before that.
Yeah.
How could Kizuki find her glasses while bleeding, even with the culprit right behind her?
Sarashina, you've been frequently interrupting for some reason since a while ago.
I'm just asking for an explanation regarding points I personally find unacceptable. What's the issue with that?
Your attitude seems a bit sharper than before.
No, Kana. I think it is a perfectly reasonable question. Even I, who am saying this, am only barely understanding the situation.
That's exactly what I thought. There are still too many obstacles to the theory that Kizuki is the one who mopped the floor.
And what if we could overcome that with the shift in perspective? Oh, I'm overcoming it!
That's not possible. That's smeared blood. Isn't it from the head wound caused by a blow to the head?
It is possible. Wow, okay. What a line. I don't think I can repeat that one.
If you intend to push through a logic that Let me try this one more time. If you intend to push through a logic that defies reason, you will have to deal with me. If Kizuki's bleeding cannot be explained, the hypothesis loses its strength. What do you think?
Strangely enough, Sadashina seems to be on edge. So I just need to convince you, right? Alright then, I'll try. It's not that I didn't think this through. A single shift in perspective is enough. I forget what my buttons are. Yes, I would. Up, down, left, right. Okay, yeah. Okay. I'll use it with spacebar and I'll shift it with shift. Got it. Oh boy. Fallen books, I'm guessing.
There were 2 wounds on Kizuki's head. One wound was not very deep, the other was fatal. In other words, Miss Kizuki is something. Therefore, blah 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 blah. And the first man does win a baby leader member. Strange contradiction, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah, get wrecked. So pretty much just get wrecked. You might find it strange when you look at it that way. But if Kizuki had bled in a different way, wiping away her own blood might have been possible.
I didn't mean to click. No, I didn't mean to click that. I was just trying to.
No, this isn't it. I should have chosen. No, I know. No, I'm sorry.
What do you mean a different way? There were no other injuries. How exactly do you propose that the kid
A book fell on her head, causing her to bleed? Are you kidding me? That's what we're going with? I mean, I get it. Like, she's too short, so she would reach up to grab a book from the top shelf and then try and bring it down, and then it would fall because she can't quite grab it properly, and then it would hit her on the head, maybe. But it's like, that's not gonna make someone bleed, no?
Yes, Sarashina, you're right. Kizuki's first wound wasn't deep, but the second one was fatal, so Kizuki couldn't wipe the blood from her head.
After all, what does that mean? If that question cannot be resolved, the reasoning will not progress.
In other words, that blood came from somewhere else.
And do you want to claim that it's not Miss Kizuki's blood? However, the physical examination results definitively confirm that it was indeed Kizuki's blood.
That's where you need a change in perspective. There's exactly one way a person can bleed like that without any external injuries. Do you know what it is? A bloody nose. Wait, didn't somebody have a bloody nose? Mikawa. Didn't Rion? Wait, didn't Rion have a bloody nose? Is that where... Are we going with that? Nosebleed?
Nosebleed.
No way! Alright, hold on a second. Is there anyone who can summarize this? There's been so much back and forth that I'm starting to get confused.
Well, it's like this. The white rabbit somehow ended up with her glasses falling off at the same time as her nose started bleeding. And as she tried to find her glasses, blood kept dripping while she was touching around on the floor. So the blood on the carpet got smeared onto the sleeve, leaving that mark. Do you understand?
Well, I suppose the only way to bleed that much without any external injuries is a nosebleed.
That's not true, but we're not gonna go the opposite route.
But this is a very sudden turn of events, isn't it?
Actually, it's not such a sudden story. When you look at it as a nosebleed, there's one more point that can be resolved.
What is it, Ego?
Earlier, Miyuki mentioned Kizuki's gown, right? He said there are smudges on the sleeves. However, the truth is, a fair amount of blood had also splattered on the front of Kizuki's clothes, not just on her sleeves. Doesn't that strike you as odd? It's highly likely Kizuki was hit around the eyes, thrown off balance, then struck on the temple with a downward blow, causing her to collapse and die. Then, it's unnatural for so much blood to splatter on the torso like that.
Understood. Blood probably didn't splatter. Not much. Blood stained on clothes is contradiction.
But if Kizuki had been bleeding profusely from the nose, the story would be different. Blood from a nosebleed flows directly from the nose to the body. Maybe after putting on the glasses and straightening up, she was trying to assess the situation and didn't notice?
I see that evidence can be interpreted that way. The hypothesis of a nosebleed has become more convincing. Then the culprit hit Kizuki on the nose? No, what on earth are you... I told you, if the culprit hit Kizuki and it's caused bleeding, there's no way they'd let Kizuki scrub an area as large as 1 square meter. That's not blood caused by the culprit. Oh, I see. So how did she end up like this? Jumanji and Miyuki, you two looked really exhausted, didn't you? Kizuki, who investigated the library with you, might have been the same. Did her nose bleed when she was starting to get fatigued?
That's not it. Kizuki wasn't up all night reading, so she was pretty well composed.
You still don't know, do you? She might not have told the truth because she didn't want to worry you. Isn't it too coincidental that her nose started to bleed at the exact moment her glasses fell off? There has to be a correlation between the two. So here's a question. What do you think happened to the white rabbit?
That's... orthostatic hypotension occurred. What?
I think she got hit in the face by a book. What's orthostatic?
She got hit in the face by something would be the most reasonable answer.
Indeed, that's it.
Well, isn't there another possible answer?
For example?
Oh, I didn't think too deeply.
Right, she fell down? She accidentally tripped and fell to the floor, hitting her nose on something and caused it to bleed.
Oh, thanks for the assist.
If she falls and hits her face, her glasses will come off and fall on a limited location, so it will be noticeable. If that's the case, there's no reason to be sweeping such a wide area while dripping blood from the nose. At least you wouldn't have bumped into something stationary like a bookshelf or the floor, right? The possibility that her glasses flew off because she flailed her arms, is that too much of a coincidence? I've never worn glasses before, so I'm not sure. While falling, if you flail your arms, there's a chance your arm could hit your glasses and knock them far away. However, the possibility doesn't seem high enough to be treated seriously. And if you just fell and got a nosebleed, you would have hit your nose on the floor, so your head would be down. In that situation, even if the glasses had flown away, wouldn't they just land on the floor?
Yeah, I admit it.
That was my opinion, so why are you admitting it?
So, the likelihood of hitting a fixed object is low. Does that mean she hit her face on something unstable?
In such cases, people usually say it hit the mark.
And there were a few books scattered around the scene, right? What do you think about the theory that the victim was hit with one of those?
Oh, I think that's the most likely one.
I see. It makes sense now. I thought it was strange. The books are on the top shelf, so it's unlikely that Miss Kizuki or the culprit accidentally knocked them down. Even so, it's questionable why they didn't immediately put them back if they had dropped it by accident before Miss Kizuki was attacked. But what if the fallen book hit your face, causing your glasses to fall off and your nose to start bleeding? Is it possible to interpret that she was not in the mood to return the books right away?
Then, I wonder if the fallen book might have left a bruise on her face. If it had just missed slightly, wouldn't there be a chance nothing would be left? Since it was the direct hit, the glasses didn't fall right at her feet but flew far away and it took time to find them. In summary, so Kizuki was trying to get a book from a higher shelf and accidentally dropped it, and then got hit in the face by the falling book, right?
There isn't other possibility?
It's as Mr. Blade said. Of course, it's a credible assumption considering that the books were found in the exact state it had fallen, but we can't entirely rule out the possibility that she might have been struck by another object.
That can be easily refuted. Didn't you say the White Rabbit was wearing the same gown and clothes when she died?
May I ask how that serves as evidence?
I think I know why. Wouldn't it be strange if Kizuki was still wearing the same clothes?
Why? What?
Huh?
Normally, if your clothes were covered in blood, you'd want to take them off right away. In particular, the sleeves that Kizuki often used to hold things were stained with a considerable amount of blood, and if she were to pick up a book with those hands, the book would immediately be stained with blood. If she had the time, Kizuki would have hurriedly taken off her clothes. But Kizuki was murdered while still wearing the very same outfit. That means the time between when the nosebleed occurred and when the culprit killed Kizuki wasn't very long. In other words, you're saying that there was no time to sort out something that hit her face, regardless of what it was, that Kizuki was hit with... what? And since there was nothing left on the scene except for the books, it naturally follows that the books became something else.
Well, it's fortunate that we have someone who's quite quick to understand. Jumanji, can I ask you something? What is it? What's gotten into you all of a sudden? I might have misunderstood you, but you seem a bit different from the image you've shown so far. I've never thought of you as someone who would be so passionate to participate in a mystery like this.
Okay. Let me say a theory here. In Danganronpa games in the past, mainline games, they aren't the kind to shy away, is that what I'm trying to say? They aren't the kind to shy away from mind-altering motives, right? They had like the bug in Danganronpa 2 that kind of messed with everybody and made them sick and all that. That's kind of the only one I can think of right now. But what if we still don't know what the motive was, right? The motive, the mono machine. What if the mono machine, they're taking out all of these tickets, all these cards that are meant for, one person in particular. And so as people are taking these cards out of the machine, they are slightly switching personalities with people? I mean, that's been a common theme in this chapter that I've noticed. Everybody's like, Oh wow, Kana, you're like eating a lot and you're talking a lot more than usual, and Tsubaki is like going to run on the treadmill with Kuzu, and Sadashina is like acting really strangely, and I don't know, like there's a lot of stuff like that, right? Maybe they switched personalities with each other, and the culprit, I don't know, like, I don't know. There was the person who put the needles on the doorknob. Maybe that person is a culprit, but then they switch personalities with somebody else, and then that person had the evil intentions and the murderous intent of that person. And I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I never thought of you as someone who would be so passionate to participate in murder and mystery like this, blah, blah, blah. Did I seem like that? Well, I guess it's true that I am a bit worked up right now. Yeah, because her best friend died. Getting worked up? You'll understand if you listen. If I tell you now, it'll just confuse you.
It's bothering me. You wouldn't happen to be pulling a prank like that guy Shitanda, would you?
What do you think of me anyway? Honestly, comparing me to that guy while seriously trying to figure things out only makes me feel really gross.
You're right. You should have behaved better. Always just reading books.
I handled myself better than you, who speaks so damn slowly. All right. Looks like a fight's brewing. Everyone calm down. First of all, Jumanji, I understand how you feel. It must be frustrating to put it in so much effort and dedication only to be suspected of doing something unnecessary. Unnecessary. Yeah, it seems like everyone got a bit on edge because of Shitanda. It does matter what you say to us, so go ahead and tell us anything. I promise I won't argue back. This is annoying now. Fine, whether you're confused or not, I'm going to say it, so listen up. The culprit of this case set a trap.
A trap? What do you mean?
A trap in the literal sense. By tampering with the evidence, they are leading our reasoning in a different direction.
You're saying we've made the wrong deduction? What do you mean by that?
Want me to give you an example? According to your current reasoning, you're saying Kizuki had a nosebleed, right? Then the absolute must-have item wasn't at the scene. Does anyone know about it? Something that wiped away the nosebleed. Are you talking about that? Yes. Judging by the amount of blood on the floor, they weren't just standing around with their hands in their pockets. It seems she even wiped the bloodstains with the hem of her sleeve. There was no direct bloodstains on her sleeves, only faint ones from rubbing, it seems. When you get a nosebleed, of course you'd wipe it with tissues or cloth nearby, right? But, as I recall, there wasn't a single ball of tissue around Kizuki to wipe away her nosebleeds.
Could it be that you're suggesting, Miss Jumanji, that the culprit took them?
Wouldn't that be the case? Besides that, what reason would there be for that to disappear?
Meaning, that's the trap.
Did they get rid of whatever she used to wipe up the nosebleed, thus preventing us from reaching the conclusion that it was a nosebleed?
Yeah, well, the truth is, at first, I couldn't even think of the idea of a nosebleed. I just went along with whatever that guy, Shitanda, said.
Don't tell me. Does that mean the criminal anticipated that we would come to this point before they escaped and used that trick?
Yeah, isn't that too far ahead? You're saying all the reasoning we've done so far has been predicted?
But then, it would be hard to explain why the culprit would have gotten rid of something she used to wipe their bloody nose. There's nothing that comes to mind except the possibility that they cut off any doubts to prevent any thoughts related to nosebleeds. I'm not finished talking. So, if you get rid of all of the evidence related to the nosebleed, what will be left behind?
Jumanji, only the crime scene will remain where you could be pointed as the culprit. Right. Only the crime scene will remain where you could be pointed as the culprit. The traces left from touching around on the ground would remind us of glasses, and the only person who wears glasses is you.
Do you get why I'm so worked up right now? I'm so pissed off that someone who killed in the sacred library, and now they're trying to frame me as the culprit. I'm so furious at this very moment that I could explode.
So you're desperate to find the culprit, right?
Yeah, I'll never forgive what they've done to me.
I'm not entirely sure, but I'm glad it seems to have motivated you.
So what you're saying is that the culprit might be fully anticipating and manipulating our deductions, right? We'll have to consider the authenticity of the evidence as we deduce what happened. Then, Should we consider the deductions we've made so far? Yeah, that's right. For example, what if the smudge on the floor is a fake piece of evidence? Then all the deductions we made so far were for nothing.
Are we doing the right thing right now? Are we just being played by the culprit?
Mr. Manji, I'm afraid you might have spoken out of turn. The confusion is only worsening, you know.
She tried to tell you that. Isn't that a good thing? You become more cautious.
It seems like the situation is only getting worse.
However, there's a bit of good news. For example, the possibility that those smudged traces are fake evidence is very low, right? Oh, really?
Why did you think that? Can you tell us?
When you think about it, that's true. If it were supposed to be fake evidence, the culprit would have had to remove the gown from Kizuki's body and wipe the floor with it. Her sleeves are long, couldn't they just take her arms and like wipe them around? Well, that's assuming the fingerprints wouldn't be left behind, since the culprit didn't wear gloves. Besides, it doesn't make much sense for a culprit who needs to get away from the scene as quickly as possible to go through so much trouble just for misdirection. You can pretty much dismiss the idea that it was a misdirection. I guess, if that's the case, it's a relief. Well, I hope there aren't any traps in the deductions so far. Okay, so we can continue like this, right?
I say it's okay, but I'm feeling a bit uneasy. They predicted our deductions and even set up traps. Just like being in palm of God's hand.
Mr. Blade, it's the Buddha's palm.
No, I just think it's a delusion.
Okay, Kana. After hearing the explanation, do you still think it's a delusion? Then I'll have to give you another example.
What? There's something else.
It was already mentioned. Do you remember why I deduced earlier that the culprit must have touched the floor after committing the murder?
That was the part I was referring to. Isn't that because out of all the bloodstains that were wiped away, the part underneath the murder weapon remained untouched?
Right. The fact that only that part wasn't wiped clean suggests that the culprit didn't tamper there. But what was the conclusion? Did the culprit sweep the floor? It turned out to be White Rabbit who did it, right? In other words, before the culprit put the weapon down on the floor would have already been swept. So it's strange that only the part underneath the weapon wasn't swept, right? And that was another trick of the culprit. They deliberately placed the weapon in a spot Kizuki wouldn't accidentally touch, erasing the possibility that Kizuki had swept the floor. I was just about to say that. Anyway, it's just like what that mechanic girl said. If the trap theory is a delusion, this wouldn't make sense, would it? Do you understand? Alright. For now, let's proceed with our deductions, keeping a healthy wariness of whatever it is we're dealing with. Whether it actually exists or not will be revealed at the end. Okay, then let's get back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, back to what we were talking about. But what were we talking about originally?
Doing a non-stop debate to figure out what we were talking about? Okay.
The step ladder!
Alright, sure. Where were we? Kizuki's face was hit by the book up to that point. Oh, thanks. Sorry.
But is that the conclusion? Trying to take out a book from a high shelf and dropped it. It's just too obvious.
No, because she didn't have a stepladder.
Agreed. It happens.
To think the conclusion we reached by gathering everyone's wisdom is so obvious. What are we going to do now? Okay.
I wonder, is this case really so obvious?
Pew.
Sore wa chigau yo! No, that's wrong! Alright, got him. Yeah, nice. Okay. Sure, I guess.
Alright, hey, we're gonna get there, guys. I mean, we're figuring stuff out. Kind of. I don't want these videos to be too long. I've been doing a lot of auditions lately, and so I gotta keep my voice, like, capable of that. But I look forward to getting back into this next time. You know, this chapter is gonna be really long. It sounds like you guys were saying, like 2 hours or something like that. I don't exactly remember, but at my pace, it's probably gonna be a bit longer even, so I don't wanna try and rush through anything. I know that it's gonna start getting really crazy soon once we start, like, uncovering all the secrets of this trial. But, we'll just have to see, won't we? Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed, be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell icon. I hope you have a great day, okay? I'll see you in the next one. All right? Peace out.